Well, welcome. I'm Steph Schluter. I'm one of the event co-chairs from Macalester College. And welcome to the 27th annual Minnesota National Girls and Women's Sports Day celebration. It's our 27th year. Today's theme is Girls in Sports and Investment in the Future. This past year, 2012, was the 40th anniversary of the passage of Title IX. And I was in diapers at the time. I remember it well. It's an important milestone for those of women's sports. And it reminds us how important it is to have vigilance in maintaining and protecting all the opportunities that have come about for girls. We hope that those of you who are here today that have blazed those trails will take every opportunity to inform young girls and women about some of the struggles that we had to give them the opportunities that they have today. And we're especially honored today to be recognizing many of those pioneers who blazed the trail. I'd like to introduce the co-chair of our event, Kelly Anderson Dirks from Augsburg College. Where's Kelly? And this event is organized and sponsored by the Minnesota Coalition of Women in Athletic Leadership. And our sole job is to do this event every year. We have a dedicated group of committee members. Would committee members please step out and wave your hands so everybody can recognize you? Our salaries are minimal, non-existent. Anyway, I'd like to also now introduce the MC for today, Lynette Sjoquist. Lynette is a color commentator for the University of Minnesota women's basketball and a former athlete herself who blazed many trails as a member of the All-American Redheads and the Minnesota Phillies. Those of you who have been around for a while might remember those teams. Lynette and her teammates from the All-American Redheads were inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame this past summer. So, quite an honor. So, Lynette, without further ado, will you take over the program?
Thank you, Steph. So good to be here with all of you this morning. Steph, of course, we have people flying in from all over the world. Steph just arrived from Africa Tuesday just to get here. So she will leave no stone unturned to make sure she gets back here every year for this wonderful celebration. What a great day it is to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Thank you for braving the elements. You are true Minnesotans to get here when it's snowing outside. You can't find a parking spot, but yet you're here and you're on time. Let's have a round of applause just for that. You know, when you're around sports, you often hear about energy levels and how they can impact the game and impact the outcome of a performance. I have to tell you, I think the energy level in here is going to be worthy of the honorees that we're going to meet this afternoon. Let's hear it for our honorees. We are so proud to congratulate these people and celebrate the accomplishments of these folks who have given of themselves to provide opportunities for others and to ensure the words of Title IX are not just words on the page. They have given life to the legislation, and we appreciate it. Now, I believe Okay. Just as I was mentioning, we are expecting Governor Dayton here today to read a proclamation declaring this National Girls and Women in Sports Day. As I understand, he is en route, and we have to thank him for coming here and making such an effort to get here. The Governor of Minnesota.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, it's a very exciting day for me. I think I'm sure the order here was much more important and successful people than I. Cheryl Reeves, the coach of the Minnesota Lynx. Cheryl, thank you very much for the fabulous job you've been doing. I had the great pleasure and honor last year when the Lynx won the World Championship to invite the team to the residence for a reception. And what a wonderful group of young women and dedicated phenomenal athletes, two of whom went to play on the Olympics and all. And Faith Johnson Patterson coached at Minneapolis North High School, and now kids out. I went for one of her players, became one of my interns when she was in high school, so I went to the state tournament and watched them three-peat win the third state championship. And the only tense moment was when all the fans were Minnesotans really forget the team were kind of looking at me like, excuse me, aren't you elected to represent all of us? And that's how I think. Of course, we got a Minnesota women's hockey team, which is undefeated, right? Women's hockey, a national collegiate sport. The first three national championships were won by the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, and then the fourth by the University of Minnesota Gophers. And President Bush, who's a big sports fan, invited the national winning teams and coaches and family to the White House for recognition. And so, and he has a good sense of humor. He is the president of the fraternity of college, so I know he's capable of a good sense of humor. But he said, well, and this is the Gopher women were standing right behind him and said, now, I understand that your motto all year long, after seeing your friends of Duluth for 3 national championships and get invited here, I understand your motto all year long was to meet George. So he turned around and said, well, I'm George, pleased to meet you. And they all turned some shades of crimson. But you know, when I was growing up, there weren't women's sports, at least not organized at any high school or other level. Best athletes and best girl athletes in my grade school, high school, had become cheerleaders. And nothing against cheerleaders is great to have there. I could use some myself these days here. But it's not the same. It's not the same opportunity. It's not an equal opportunity. And at the federal level, here at the state level, some incredible pioneers. I see Phyllis Kahn over there in the corner there, who was one of the real champions of women's sports. Which actually came from women's sports, because at the same time we made all girls teams and along eligible for equal ice time. It puts us a crush on the rinks we have, that communities all over the state needed help in building more ice rinks. So women's sports spearheaded not only the opportunities for girls and women, but also increased those opportunities for young boys and young men, so that, you know, everybody gains, everybody wins. This kind of innovation, this kind of quality. I know many of you are athletes, or parents of athletes, grandparents of athletes, and you know, there's a lot more to accomplish, no question. But look back with a nice span of time now, it's getting unfortunately longer and longer, and I'm mindful of the enormous progress we've made. It's because of heroes, champions like Phyllis and other legislators, and because of role models like Cheryl and Faith and their players, that, you know, young people just look up to so much. And And we're frankly, you know, us men have been athletes who can stand the limit. So I'm just going to close with this one story. I can tell more, but I went to one of the playoff games a year ago, and right next to me were two probably 8 or 9-year-old girls and their mothers, and Lynx were ahead 10-15 points, about 2-3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So they had each had a basketball, and they ran out with their mothers to get to the line, hoping that they could get autographs or shake hands. So I followed along behind the team, and it took me along, and I saw these two girls in the line that were holding their ball. They said, well, did you get autographs? Well, yeah, they got autographs from Lindsay Whalen, from Maya Moore, and then Augustus, Simone Augustus, that is there in the locker room taking off her shoes, autographed each and giving each one of them a shoe. I haven't seen any winners of the Super Bowl taking off their cleats or shoes. But you know, there's a connection that they make. There's a way that they understand that this is nothing they take for granted. Now they're all, you know, other parts of the world playing basketball for salaries that are still less than what men minor league players make here in America. You know, but that, and if they know that, they notice that injustice, I'm sure they do. They don't translate it into the way they connect with people. In fact, it makes them better people. It makes them more human. It makes them more like all the rest of us. It makes them more appreciative of the special qualities which they do have, and more dedicated to using those qualities to achieve the great success that they have. So, the lessons you're learning, all of you, even in the midst of discrimination, even in the midst of injustice, even in the midst of adversity, it's going to make you stronger, it's going to make you better, it's going to hold you in good stead for the rest of your lives, and it's going to mean that our state and our nation are going to have the kind of leadership we're need to be successful in this world ahead. So it's my honor to, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's boring, because I can't see it. But I'm proud to claim as Governor of Minnesota that today is Girls and Women in Sports Day here in the state of Minnesota. Congratulations.
Thank you, Governor Nate, for joining us in celebrating our 27th anniversary and, most importantly, the passage of Title IX 41 years ago. Let's give the governor a hand. This was nice of him Our first honorees will receive our Breaking Barriers Award. They were nominated by peers within their communities and are being honored for overcoming barriers to help provide athletic opportunities for girls and women while serving as exceptional role models. I will give you a brief description of their accomplishments taken from their nomination forms, but keeping in mind that we couldn't possibly tell you everything that they have done for their communities. Many will also be honored by their communities and respective organizations today. Members of the Minnesota Coalition of Women in Athletic Leadership are going to help me present the awards. Because there are a number of people receiving these awards, instead of having extended applause after each one, we're going to ask you to follow some directions. After we introduce each one of these Breaking Barriers Awards, I'd like you to do a snappy 3-clap. Everybody practice this now. Ready? All coaches, they all know how to do things. And then we'll do a big round of applause at the end. So, first of all, Dawn Ingebretson. Ingebretson has worked in the Rockford area school since 1992. She started as a gymnastics coach and volunteered as the junior high softball coach. Her varied roles have constantly expanded, thereby increasing athletic opportunities for girls in her community. She has served as a head volleyball coach, organized and directed a youth volleyball club, coached summer softball, served as a highly successful head high school softball coach, and also took on duties as the Minnesota State High School League 5A section representative. When asked why she is so involved, she says, I used to focus only on my team, but now I can see things that need to be done for the good of all girls playing sports. Dawn Ingebretson. Next, Mary Beth Holmberg. Holmberg has been a person of many firsts in the Morris area schools. She started the first girls softball team in 1981, the first girls basketball team, the first girls swimming and diving team, and the first girls hockey team. Holmberg has served for 17 years as the Morris Athletic Director, coached the softball team for 32 years while racking up more than 475 wins, and served as the Minnesota State High School League 6A Athletic Director Representative. Highly respected by her peers, Holmberg won accolades as the Morris Area Teacher of the Year and Region 6A Athletic Director of the Year. Mary Beth Holmberg. Next, Brenda Holmgren. Holmgren has worked in the Elk River District as a coach and social studies teacher for 31 years. While coaching volleyball and track, she also served as a 7AA girls sports representative to the Minnesota State High School League. She was a member of the Minnesota State High School League Officials Advisory Committee and the only female on the Minnesota State High School League Steering Committee for the 2010 Officiate Minnesota Conference. Holmgren has distinguished herself as a basketball official and mentor to many aspiring young women officials. For 26 years, she has officiated high school basketball, including more than 10 state tournaments, collegiate Division II and Division III games, and the NCAA Division II Final Four. She has been a pioneer in forging opportunities for women officials. Brenda Holmgren. Tracy Rhoda. Rhoda is an attendance specialist at Harding High School in St. Paul, where she has been the head coach of the girls' badminton team since 1996 and the volleyball team since 1997. She has earned Conference of the Year honors on numerous occasions, and her badminton team has won 8 conference championships and 9 state championships. More important than the wins, she consistently has more than 70 girls actively participating on her badminton team. She has never cut a player and believes it is critical to give all the girls a meaningful experience. The staff at Harding believes she has been an invaluable mentor to hundreds of young women. Tracy Rhoda. Dr. Jill Johnson. Johnson grew up breaking barriers as a multi-sport athlete in the early days of Title IX at Glencoe High School, and then at Minnesota State Mankato. She moved into her role as an educational leader in public schools, first at Minneapolis South, and currently as the Executive Director for Teaching and Learning in the Wayzata Public Schools. Throughout her professional career, she has been a strong advocate for supporting and enhancing athletic opportunities for girls and young women at all levels. Johnson has been a tireless voice and a leader for the expansion of athletic opportunities for young women. Unfortunately, she is not able to be with us today, but you know what? We're going to give her the 3 snappy claps. Thank you. Next, Wendy Kohler. Kohler has been a teacher and coach in the Alexandria Public Schools since 1985. She has coached basketball, softball, and cross country while being a role model and mentor for thousands of young people. In Alexandria, she incorporated the Top 20 philosophy, which has had an enormous impact on changing the culture within the school. Her support for young women, teaching life skills while encouraging them to reach high for their goals, has compassionately influenced the future of young women in the Alexandria schools. Many former students have returned to tell of how she positively shaped their lives. Wendy Kohler. Jana LaFontaine. LaFontaine was a standout gymnast and contender for the 1976 Olympics, but deemed too tall to make the team. After graduating from Gustavus, she coached gymnastics, swimming, and softball at St. Cloud Apollo High School, while also mentoring new gymnastics judges and advocating for equitable opportunities. In 2002, she began teaching and coaching tennis at the College of St. Benedict. As a professor, she developed coursework on gender, culture, and sport, which is focused around Title IX. Her coursework stimulates students to explore their own sport experience, looking for both subtle and blatant gender bias. Most recently, Jana helped lead a campus community celebration for the 40th anniversary of Title IX. Jana LaFontaine. Ann Miller. Miller began teaching and coaching at Pipestone High School in 1970 and made an immediate impact from the day she arrived. Prior to formalized athletic opportunities for girls at the high school level, Miller began, some of you are familiar with, GAA, Girls Athletic Association. She began the program and then began the volleyball team. She was also the first girls basketball coach and then later coached track and field. Miller found success in all her sports, but her volleyball team specifically won district and region championships and qualified for the first ever girls volleyball state tournament in 1977. Her basketball team blazed a similar path of success, and her mentoring of young women continues to this day. In 2009, Miller was inducted into the Pipestone Jasper Hall of Fame, and in 2011 was honored by the Section 3 Girls Coaches Association for her dedication, loyalty, and service to high school education, athletics, and volleyball. Ann Miller. Michael Miller. Miller has been coaching volleyball for young girls at Van Cleve Recreation Center in Southeast Minneapolis for 25 years. His players describe him as kind, thoughtful, giving, and selfless. For years, Miller has been willing to put his own money towards uniforms, pizza parties, volleyballs, equipment, transportation when needed. His teams have been successful, winning numerous championships and racking up numerous undefeated seasons. Beyond the X's and O's, he teaches life lessons, personal responsibility, and inspires a love for sports with young girls who may never have had these opportunities. Many of his players have gone on to play in high school and even become coaches themselves. Michael Miller. Mary Beth Midico. Midico taught physical education and coached at Totino Grace High School for 30 years. In the early days of Title IX, Midico was a strong advocate for competitive girls' sports at Totino High School while coaching softball and volleyball. As a teacher, she promoted lifetime sports and started a physical education program, Physical Education Aid program, to mentor girls who had an interest in physical education. She spearheaded the selection of the Athena Award winner every year and made a wall of fame to promote and recognize Totino Award winners and student athletes who went on to collegiate athletic careers. She has been a role model for young women, urging them toward healthy lifestyles. Mary Beth Midico. Jen Rodemaker. Rodemaker has been a physical education teacher and basketball coach at Robbinsdale Cooper for 15 years. She learned the importance of athletic opportunities for girls early on as a high school athlete, then as a collegiate basketball star at North Dakota State University, where they won four consecutive national championships. She has been a role model and an advocate for high school girls' opportunities, particularly promoting girls' basketball. She has given back to the community through her work as chair of the Girls High School Basketball Clinic, section representative for girls basketball, a member of the All-Star Series Committee, and as president of the Girls Basketball Coaches Association. Jen Rodemaker. Lynn Swanson. Swanson has been a volunteer coach with the Vadnais Heights Parks and Recreation Program for 13 years. She started volunteering for her daughter's softball program and has been going back yearly, donating over 100 hours of coaching each year. Lynn has accumulated over 1,300 volunteer hours, coaching girls softball, indoor and outdoor soccer. Her love of sports and young kids has been a driving force for the Vadnais Heights Park and Recreation programs, enabling them to offer athletic opportunities for young girls in the Vadnais Heights community. Lynn has positively impacted the lives of hundreds of young girls. Lynn Swanson. Doreen Zier. Zier has spent her life as a role model and advocate for athletic opportunities for young women. Most recently, she was the athletic director and Title IX director of Bagley High School and also the elementary school dean of students. She has coached college basketball at North Dakota State University and Bemidji State and served as the athletics director at Bemidji State. Zier has led efforts at Bagley to raise operating funds for all sports. She has worked tirelessly to make sure all students have appropriate uniforms and equipment. She has been the face everyone sees at all Bagley sporting events, and she has established important relationships with parents and students, making her a truly admired and cherished figure in the community. Doreen, unfortunately, not able to be here today, but we're going to give her her due. And now, let's give a great big round of applause for all of our Our next award is the Marie Berg Award, and that is presented to an outstanding K-12 physical education teacher who has expanded opportunities for girls and women. The award will be presented by former Associate Director of the Minnesota State High School League, Dorothy McIntyre.
Good afternoon. A year ago, a young woman sitting in the back with her letter jacket on had come here with her team to see what this day was all about. Her principal had said to her, listen, I want you young women to understand why you're playing today, why you have uniforms and budgets and buses and officials and state tournaments. It didn't just happen. There were people who shed blood, sweat, and tears so that you might have that opportunity. And I want you to go to the Capitol and be in the audience and watch and listen to the people that you are going to hear about and meet. And then you'll understand. What a wise principle. And so she and her team came. And imagine, it was her first visit to the Capitol, and she looked around in awe at the feeling that one gets sitting here in this rotunda, because this is the building where laws are made that make sure that we as citizens are going to be treated fairly and equally. This is where it gets done. And so in the 1970s, when we were struggling pretty hard on that whole issue, we did have a representative, Phyllis Kahn, who was here, and maybe yet, I want to recognize her, who spearheaded a law, Minnesota Statute 12621. And really what it is Minnesota's Title IX. The best part of that law was that it didn't just happen. It happened because people in Minnesota wanted girls to have sports. And this is 1975. Title IX hadn't even, hardly ink wasn't dry. They didn't know what it all meant yet. But we in Minnesota knew what our pattern was, and we knew where we were going, and we thank Representative Kahn for her support. At the end of the program that day, this young woman came up to each of the award winners, shook their hand and said, thank you. I'm standing on your shoulders today. And that's why we're here, to pass on the legacy of what we have done so that the young women who are here today and are playing will pick up the torch and keep it going. One of those people is here today to be honored for the Marie Berg Award. Anna Anderson. Anna, would you come up? Seems appropriate that we're meeting here today in the snow, with snow coming down. One of the first times I worked with Anna was at probably the second state girls volleyball tournament in Anoka. We had a blizzard. We couldn't even get the teams to Anoka. They came in by snowmobile, behind snowplows. I'm stuck in Anoka because I can't get through the roads from Anoka to Elk River and up to to St. Cloud. But guess who got there? Anna. So I have learned that when Anna puts the snowplow on her four-wheeler, I better get in line behind her. Anna was an athlete before Title IX. There were women athletes, you know, before Title IX. You just had to find and make your way to play. Anna played lots of things, but one of her things that she was particularly good at was softball. And she played with the Minneapolis Comets, who went down to Pan American Games, came back with a bronze medal in the 1960s. And believe me, when she pitched, you really didn't want to be the batter standing there. Anna started lots of legends. That was one. But one of the things that we were fortunate when she went into physical education and was teaching, she also coached, and she became an official in several sports. And one of them was volleyball. And thank goodness for us, and I always say for me, because when Anna started to get her teeth into volleyball, she started the Metro Volleyball Officials Association. And there are athletic directors and coaches around the state that owe their lives during those years. Maxine Hibbs nodding for the work that she did in helping you get officials for that young sport of volleyball that some people wondered if it really was ever going to become an important sport. And now we know. Anna was one of the reasons for that for 25 years. And during that time, she was also the supervisor of our officials at the state tournaments and throughout the year. And I could relax knowing that Anna's hand was on the wheel when all those teams rolled in and we set out having state championships. So Anna, we are very pleased today and proud to present you with the Marie Berg Award as an outstanding physical educator, teacher, and one who has taken down so many barriers, and we are standing on your shoulders today. Anna?
That time of my life. I'm so very pleased to be here today. This is just really an honor, and I'm just very excited and proud to Warren River City Navy. Athletics have always been a part of my life. I just grew up playing sports, and I've had a lot of honors, but I think today is probably the highlight of all those honors. I was fortunate in growing up, and I was fortunate because I had 6 brothers and 3 sisters. And but at a young age, I was able to satisfy my need for activity and competition, and we certainly had a lot of that in our house. But I got into high school and later to the University of Minnesota. It was kind of disappointing because my first love was athletics, my second love was education and learning. But my first love was athletics, and there was nothing. I mean, I think we had a badminton team that I played on, but that was in its early stages too. It wasn't really developed, but that was all there was to offer. But thank goodness for Minneapolis Spartanburg, because there I was able to compete with a very good basketball team and also with the softball team that traveled all over the country. We went to 9 national tournaments, and that was culminated by participating in the Pan American Games. But then Title IX came along, and that was a big thing. It opened the door for me, not as an athlete, but as someone who could do a lot of work, because in the beginning there was a lot of work to be done. Nothing was established. Everything had been in the past had been for the boys. So there were opportunities for anyone that wanted to coach, write the rules, to be rules interpreters, to be observers, to be clinicians, scorekeepers, lines people. Everything was open. Anybody that wanted to participate could, and there were a lot of people that did a lot of work to get this entire program started. But none of this could have happened had it not been for my family, because they were there to back me up, support me, allowing me to be gone many nights during the week, and most weekends during the fall. In fact, every weekend during the fall. So I need to thank my husband, Gus, who's here my daughter Cheryl, my son Eric, and my mother, who lived with us, who babysat for me all the time. Give them a big thank you again. And I also need to thank Dorothy, Steph, and all the rest of the women that are involved in the committee that is putting on this today. Presented me with this Murray Award, Murray Bird Award. You can tell I'm nervous. Thank you so very much for inviting me, and thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy and Anna. Our next award honors someone from the media who has made special contributions in their coverage of female athletics. Today's honoree is Donnie Henn from the Rochester Post-Bulletin. Henn has been a sports writer for the Rochester Post-Bulletin for nearly 30 years. He has been honored 34 times with awards from the Associated Press, Minnesota Newspaper Association, the National Newspaper Association, the Society of Professional Journalists, and the Small Newspaper Group. In 2012, he received the Merit Award from the Minnesota High School Section 1AA Athletic Administrators in recognition for his contributions to the athletic programs of Region 1AA. We are honoring him for his exemplary coverage of girls' sports in southeastern Minnesota, and especially for the outstanding piece he did this past year in reviewing Minnesota's history of girls' athletics for the 40th anniversary of Title IX. We wish all sports writers in Minnesota could take some lessons from him. She said quietly. Ladies and gentlemen, Donnie Henn, the 2013 Media Award.
2 minutes, I can get through this. It was on the hallowed playgrounds of Summer Falls Elementary School on a warm summer day in 1971 when my friend and classmate Terry Honsky kicked a red rubber ball farther than any boy I'd ever seen before. The kicker, of course, was that Terry was a girl, and she still is. Terry was also my #1 pick for kickball from grades 1 through 4. It was during my junior high track year, junior high I should say, at Lake City in 1977 on a track and field day when Mary Hagenberger left me and every other boy in our class about 5 yards behind in the 50-yard dash. So Mary, you guessed it, also a girl. By the time I became a sports writer at the Rochester Post-Bulletin in 1984, I already had a healthy respect for girls and women as athletes. Then along came Coco and Kelly Miller at Mayo High School in the mid-1990s to really sledgehammer the point home. The Miller twins led Mayo to large school basketball state championships in 1995 and 1997, which was the first and the last time Rochester has won the largest class of girls basketball. They created a nationwide recruiting frenzy, the likes of which Rochester had never seen before. They went on to success together at the University of Georgia, Minnesota wishes, leading the Bulldogs as sophomores to the NCAA Final Four. Coco and Kelly shared the A. Sullivan Award in 1999 as the top amateur athletes in the entire nation. Both were first-round WNBA draft picks in 2001. Both played more than 10 years professionally in the U.S. and abroad. People ask me, I've covered boys and girls, people ask me who was the most exceptional athlete that I've ever had the good fortune to cover in 30 years, and I will tell them it was not one girl, but it was those 2 girls. There's just a few of the girls, these are just a few of the girls who proved to me over the years that anything that I can do, they can do better. And with more grace. I would like to acknowledge just a few other people who made my job covering girls' sports for the Rochester newspaper so thoroughly enjoyable for so very long. Thanks to Lourdes basketball coach Myron Glass for winning 700 games, 17 section titles, a record 8 state championships, all of which I covered, from the first one in 1986 to the most recent one in 2005. Thanks to Stewartville volleyball coach John Zube for winning 800 matches, 16 section crowns, 3 state titles in 91, 97, and 2000, also all on my watch. These two coaches have demonstrated that it's possible to win consistently at the highest level with humility and always with respect for their opposition. Thanks to the Minnesota State High School League for being a leader in promotion and execution of sports opportunities for girls throughout the years, and for continually presenting what I have to believe must be the finest state tournaments in the country. Thanks to Dorothy McIntyre, who I got to know during all of those state tournaments. Dorothy, as most of us know, is the true champion and historian of girls and women's sports in Minnesota, and really the reason I'm standing here right now. Special thanks to Rochester Post-Bulletin sports editor Bob Brown, who is now retired. He hired me in the 1980s, and then in the 1990s he kept me around when my lead foot and 3 speeding tickets in an 18-month period threatened my fledgling sports career. Thanks mostly to my lovely wife Judy, who is here with me today, putting up with the sports writers late night, every night, and most weekends, hours, for all those years as well. And to my bosses, Post-Bulletin sports editor Craig Edit and Craig Slobosky, and publisher Randy Chapman, both of whom I am pleased to say are here to share this event with me today. Finally, a sincere thank you to the Minnesota Coalition of Women in Athletics, Scholarship, and Leadership for presenting me with this important award today. It's been humbling and my sincere pleasure, and I feel just a little bit out of place with all these deserving award winners. So thank you very much.
You can tell he's a true reporter. His whole many minutes of his presentation were dedicated to other people. He was still reporting what was going on. Nicely done. The Wilma Rudolph Courage Award is given to a female athlete who exhibits extraordinary courage in her athletic performances and demonstrates the ability to overcome adversity while making a significant contribution to sports and serves as an inspiration and a role model. This year's honoree, Amy Gardner. Gardner has been involved in adaptive sports for much of her life. In fact, she was responsible for bringing adaptive sports to her high school. Amy successfully petitioned the school board for funding to allow her Mount West Tonka School District to join the Robbinsdale Adapted Sports Cooperative. Throughout high school, she played with the Robins on successful teams in floor hockey, soccer, basketball, and softball, winning numerous state championships and lettering in all 4 sports. Following high school, Amy has continued her passion for athletics with the Courage Center and traveling basketball, and Special Olympics teams in floor hockey and assisted bowling. Her motto is, everyone should get out and play. Don't let anything stop you. She has a full wall of medals attesting to the fact that she completely embraces her motto. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Gardner, the 2013 Wilma Rudolph Courage Award recipient.
Thanks for the rides, equipment, adapting my equipment, and thank you for this award, the honor of this award.
Thank you, Amy. Each year we honor a few individuals who exemplify the highest levels of commitment to breaking barriers for girls and women's sports and present them with the Special Merit Award. Today we have 4 honorees. Marilyn Pearson Florian. Pearson Florian has devoted her entire professional life to serving Augsburg College. She has been a student athlete, a basketball and volleyball coach, an assistant professor, and chair of the physical education department, and an athletic administrator. She has been a constant advocate for opportunities for young women. Since 1988, she has led a steady increase in both the number of sports offered for women and the level of participation by female athletes. Under her leadership, Augsburg added women's golf, cross country, and swimming. In 1995, when she proposed the start of women's varsity ice hockey, Augsburg became the very first intercollegiate program in the Midwest. She also initiated the first women being inducted into the Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame. Pearson Florian has served on the board of the Minnesota Association for Health, Physical Education, and Dance, and has lobbied at the state capitol for increased time requirements for health and physical education in the public schools. She was inducted into the Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame in 1997 and was named to the 1970s All-Decade Team as part of the college's 40th anniversary of women's athletics. The 2013 Special Merit Award winner, Marilyn Pearson Florian.
I want to begin by thanking the Minnesota Coalition of Women in Athletic Leadership for selecting me to receive this award. I am very honored, and I'm pleased that I can share this day with several MIAC and Augsburg College colleagues, and my husband Ken, daughter Kelsey, and sister-in-law Kathy. Title IX was passed in 1972, the year that I graduated from high school. I was fortunate to have coaches and administrators in high school and college who are passionate about providing opportunities for women in sport. Many of you know my high school coach, Pinky Brown. She is a past Marie Berg Award winner at Minnesota Girls and Women in Sport Day. She coached every high school sport team and offered numerous opportunities to participate before Title IX was passed. Joyce Paff, the former Breaking Barriers Award winner, was my Augsburg College coach and athletic director. Several other students and I showed up at Joyce's office in the fall of 1972, just after Title IX was passed, asking when volleyball practice began. There was no team at the time, but Joyce started a team on the spot, started practice in the next few days, and coached us in that first year. These two mentors in athletic leadership knew that girls and women hoped to play sports, and they found a way to make it happen. This is the philosophy that I brought to my coaching and athletic leadership career, and I hope to leave as my legacy. With that said, I am very proud that Augsburg will be the first college in Minnesota to offer a varsity lacrosse program beginning next year. In closing, I encourage all girls and women to strive to do what they dream to do. Not only, but especially when the path toward that dream is not clear. In the words of Joe France, an author with MS, take a limitation and turn it into an opportunity. Take an opportunity and turn it into an adventure by dreaming big. Thank you for this award. I am both humbled and honored.
Thank you, Marilyn. I spent a couple years as an assistant basketball coach at McAllister, so I remember watching Marilyn doing everything, coaching, always there, always at Oxford. So Marilyn, well done. Next, Tony St. Pierre. St. Pierre was breaking barriers and blazing the way for opportunities for girls and women from her days in high school. Since teams for girls were few and far between prior to Title IX, competing with the boys was one of the few options for talented girls. St. Pierre and Peg Brendan convinced the ACLU to represent them in a lawsuit before Title IX was being considered by the federal government. The victory allowed her to compete on the boys' cross-running and skiing teams at Hopkins Eisenhower High School, making national news. She went on to graduate from the College of St. Benedict, unfortunately before they started their cross-country program. After college, she became a fixture in the running world, competing in local and national marathons. She also started competing in triathlons in 2009 and qualified for nationals in her age group. St. Pierre has been inducted into the Hopkins High School Hall of Fame, and she credits the passage of Title IX with giving young girls and women the motivation and encouragement to be active in sports. The committee is sad to inform you that Tony St. Pierre passed away just this past weekend. Accepting on her behalf are her children, Jessica Heisel, Alicia Jack, and Tim Heisel, the 2013 Special Merit Award recipient, Tony St. Pierre. Minnesota's most successful and inspiring girls high school coaches. She has won 7 state high school basketball championships, 5 at North High School and 2 at De La Salle High School. Her teams have participated in 13 state tournaments, and she has 20 former players who have earned Division I basketball scholarships. Her players have gone on to graduate from college and become role models and mentors for other young women. She's the founder and director of Striving for Success Inner City Basketball Camps for Girls and has been intimately involved in many local community organizations. In addition to her coaching, Johnson Patterson works as an employment support consultant for Goodwill Easter Seals. In 2012, Faith was inducted into the Minnesota Girls Basketball Association Hall of Fame and was also named among the top 5 best high school tournament coaches by the Minnesota State High School League. Ladies and gentlemen, Faith Johnson Patterson.
look so much younger in that picture. Oh, God. 2 minutes. I did prepare a speech. As a coach, you start preparing a speech, it gets longer and longer and longer. But I am extremely honored to receive this award, and basically, for me, the speech anyway would be nothing but thanks and gratitude, and I'm going to take that time and thank and appreciate a lot of people that have helped me, inspire me, basically, to just want to be able to just give back and help young people. Dorothy McIntyre, thank you so much. You know, Lisa Lismore, I'm sure she's still here. Steph, I watched you coach. I was inspired by, you know, your tremendous job and how competitive you've been. And there's been many women that have been just role models and mentors for me. Just looking out and looking at them, not even knowing that they were there inspiring me. And I just appreciate this day. And today, it's a fabulous day to be a woman today. I'm so honored. Before I get to my thanks, I do have to ask Coach Reeve if you would please show me how to take that jacket off and throw it. That was phenomenal. Congratulations to you and your team. Your team have inspired my teams to continue, you know, striving to play at that level. And having Minnesota Lynx in town, I know everyone can agree this high school basketball coach, especially for girls, has definitely, you know, increased the competitiveness in the state of Minnesota in women's basketball. So thank you so much for the tremendous job that you're doing. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for my mother who is here today. Mom, if you could stand. My mom raised myself with 3 brothers by herself, worked 2 jobs. You know, watching that and watching her make sacrifices to make sure that we had, you know, clothes on our back, make sure that, you know, we were able to, you know, eat and do different things like that. And just watching something like that was very inspiring to me. To see someone work so hard because she wanted the best for her children. And it's had such an impact that it really helped me work hard to earn a scholarship because I knew my mother could not afford to pay for my college education. And that was the thing that inspired me the most to, you know, want to be the best that I could be. And the Minnesota State High School League for putting on, because I was playing in '75. I played in the first state tournaments. You know, the pictures deceive me. But, you know, that helped me get the, you know, exposure, and also it helped change my life. Just playing in the state tournament is a difference maker for anybody. And I knew that when I became a basketball coach, I knew that my team had to get to the state tournament because I knew the impact it would have on those young ladies. And that's been the motivation behind trying to get there over and over again is really for them, because I know it's going to change their life forever. It's going to teach them how to compete. Hearing Governor Dayton talk about, you know, Tasha Byers interning for him, that's unbelievable right there. and he, what he doesn't know is when he was in the stands, my player told me, and I thought, oh my God, we've got to win. We've got to win, there's no pressure here. My Aunt Linda, my mom's sister, who has spent numerous hours praying, you know, for me, being tired and just, you know, like, you know, I'm tired, this is hard. I work 2 jobs, I coach, I work, you know, sometimes I just didn't feel like I had the energy, you know, to do this, but I knew that I wanted to do this. I was not going to give up, you know, because I was representing a lot of young people, and they were looking up to me, and that's important. You know, thank God for blessing me with my wonderful son who was here, and he basically was a miracle. 1 year in 2000, you know, I almost lost him. At practice, I yelled at one of the kids. The next thing I knew, I was rushed to the hospital. Now, I do still yell at the kids, but I did kind of slow down a little bit now. But maybe I need to ease up a little bit. But I'm humbled and I'm grateful. My job, my boss is here. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to still continue to coach and work for Goodwill East Yourselves. I appreciate that along with my coworkers. That means a lot, because I couldn't work for any other place that would not allow me to do what I feel God has taught me to do, and that is impact the lives of young ladies.
got 2 more Division I signees, and to me, over $2 million of scholarship, you know, is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much, Minnesota Coalition for Women's Sports, for this honor. With that, I guess I'll close. Thank you so much. Thank you, Faith. Last but certainly not least, Cheryl Reeve and the Minnesota Lynx. Since their run to win the WNBA World Championship in 2011, Coach Reeve and the Lynx have become the media darlings in the Minnesota sports scene. The rise of the Lynx has brought with it an appreciation for the athletic abilities that can result when young women are given opportunities to compete. Coach Reeve has taken a talented group of young women and molded them into a team which epitomizes all the best qualities coaches hope to instill. They display teamwork, selflessness, feisty determination, incredible athletic ability, discipline, genuine caring for each other, and on top of it all, they're phenomenal role models. Anyone who has followed the Lynx since their inception knows that much of their rise and prominence comes from the leadership of a determined and talented woman, Coach Reeve. It has been a delight to see the Lynx play before cheering, sold-out crowds of fans. They are the perfect example for the legacy of Title IX. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Cheryl Reeve and the Minnesota Lynx.
Well, one thing I do know, that if this coaching thing doesn't work out for me, the Minnesota Lynx, we've got a head coach in waiting, Coach Faith Johnson Patterson. I think she's ready to go. We want to look very good, right? Congratulations to all the award winners. You know, as I kind of thought about the Minnesota Lynx in my time here, I think the thing that bubbles up for me is it's really important to acknowledge our owner, Glenn Taylor, who, without him, we would not have the WNBA. And while there are many things that have gone into his ownership of the Minnesota Lynx, I think when I interviewed with him, the thing that stood out for me the most, when I asked him why he was an owner, and by the way, he sits courtside, about 3 seats away. He probably could have caught my jacket as I was over a little bit. It was seeing him that kind of brought me back to earth as I was on my tirade there, Coach. You know how that goes sometimes. You ever throw your jacket, Coach? Yeah. But when I interviewed with Mr. Taylor, you know, he talked about it was important not only to be successful on the court and to try to win a championship, but what was even more important to him was to have leaders in the community. And he had to fight off many of the other NBA counterparts that wanted to get rid of the WNBA. So Mr. Taylor is a leader in our community that you know, frankly, I wouldn't be standing here without. So I personally want to say thank you to Mr. Taylor. The other thing that I'm very, very proud of is that our players, not only are they talented, but my goodness, do they understand their idea of being a role model. And I think if you're at the games, you know, Governor Dayton mentioned his story, they embrace what they're doing. They know that they want to compete for a championship and play at the top of their sport, but they understand that it is their job to pass that torch on to this next generation. A generation of players that now can dream about being the next Lindsay Whalen, the next Simone Augustus, the next Maya Moore, the next Rebecca Brunson. I couldn't dream that dream. I dreamed of playing basketball and being like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Okay, I am so happy to say that these young girls, especially in the state of Minnesota, now have these tremendous role models and they can be just like them. You know, sports participation for me, all of us can say that have been involved in this. It made me strong. It made me confident. It gave me leadership qualities. And I can't say enough about, how it has shaped my life. And I want to say thank you to all of those people before us, some of you that are here, that the pioneers, that I tell our players, we're playing for them, we're playing for you. Those that didn't get a chance to play, we're playing for you. And it is our goal to take great care of the game. Join me and the Lakes players in pledging to make every day Girls and Women's Sport Day. Every day. Coaches, administrators, teachers, corporate professionals, and yes, even officials. We all have a role in continuing to not only honor achievements, but to continue to invest in the future through resources, not lip service. And we have to give, continue to give. I know that I promise you that our players will continue to do this on a daily basis. Thank you so much for honoring myself and the Minnesota Lynx. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you.
That concludes our program. I want to thank all of you again for coming out, honoring all of our award winners. What a great group, unbelievable. It's unmatched year after year. It's incredible. I want you to take the challenge, certainly, that Coach Cheryl Reeve just gave us, and make sure that every day is a Girls and Women in Sports Day. Go proudly back to your communities, and remember, girls in sports, it's an investment in the future. Thank you.